It was a mission where Indians who were stuck outside the country were we were helping them to get into India. So when they asked us if you can volunteer for this, so I thought about the who. If I'm not going to do it, then who is going to? Once I was staying in Jaipur, married, JW married. The Kartik
Hmm.
Aryan was there. He came for a promotion, and then I got to know, okay, he's also staying in the hotel. The most challenging part is if someone is breaking a rule, so you have to be like very adamant. As I have also declared somebody unruly passenger, there was a man who was arresting a girl in the flight.
Being an air hostess is a mix of beauty, brains, and brawn. Wherein not only are you presenting yourself as a brand ambassador, but you're also doing a lot of crisis management, and also especially ensuring that crisis management shouldn't happen and doing all the checks and balances for it.
Hello everyone, I am Toshika
Hi everyone, this is Akhila.
and welcome to At the End of the Day podcast, where we cover unconventional career paths and individuals. Today we have with us Kajal Singh. Kajal is the youngest a team lead flight attendant at Indigo, and she's a very happy go person. And Kajal, we are very happy to have you here with us. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Toshika. Hi, Akila. Thank you so much. It was nice joining with you all.
Okay, I'd like to get right in because I haven't met a lot of air hostesses. So, could you tell us your journey so far? Where are you from? What motivated you to get into aviation industry? How's it going so far? Everything. I want to know everything.
Okay, sure. So I was in Delhi University. I was doing my college. So in on that time, I got to know about this profession. So what I did is like I just explored more about it. There was an interviews which was going on in Delhi. So I applied for it, and then it got cleared, and then I just became the cabin attendant after doing the 3 months of training. So yes, and after becoming the training, I was flying for 3 months hardly, and then after that, COVID happens, and everything was getting shut. And also, we were not flying. However, we were getting paid for the salary, the basic amount. However, we were not flying. But on that particular time, it was like that we were doing the Vande Bharat mission, if you know about it. So it was a mission where Indians who were stuck outside the country were we were helping them to get into India. So we did that mission. We were not operating commercial flight. However, we were flying the Vande Bharat under the Vande
Hmm.
Bharat scheme. So after that, we recovered from the pandemic, and then after that, what we have like I was flying continuously as cabin attendant. After 2 years of flying experience, only I gave the interview for lead, and I became the lead. So on that time, I became the youngest lead as no one was there lead just after flying for 2 years. So yeah, so it was a
Right.
good achievement for me at that time. So now I'm flying as a lead. So it's been 2.5 years, and I've completed 5 years with Indigo, so 5.5. So this was.
Wow. Were you like while doing the entire Vande Bharat mission, I want to know what were your experiences like? What were the passengers feeling? How was your team feeling? How did you guys overcome all the anxiety and the apprehensions that were there?
So what happened was I was also new into flying, and I also don't know like much about the things. But when they asked us if you can volunteer for this, so I first of all I was scared enough, like because of the COVID was a huge thing at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was,
Yeah.
but I thought about the who. If I'm not going to do it, then who is going to help them? Like they also want to come in there. So that's the spirit. Like, and my family was there in Ahmedabad that time, so they supported me a lot. Like, so we were wearing the
Hmm.
PP hazmat suit, so everything was covered. Then we were
Hmm.
operating just flight was empty while going, and then while coming back we were getting the passengers. So every COVID test was happening frequently for the passengers as well who are coming to India. So they were very
Hmm.
emotional and all. However, we were not allowed to click pictures and all, but they were like so thankful that we are coming there and then getting them to India. So it was a big thing. Like I that time I felt like I did something good. Like so yeah, I operated 2 3 flights. We went to Maldives. There were workers over there, foreigners, people, whoever went for the vacation, they were also stuck, and no commercial
Hmm.
flights was happening at that moment.
Hmm.
We went to Kuwait, where many worker loaders were also there, like who are man force, who work in
Mm.
companies and all, like or buildings, construction, anything, any point of view. So yeah,
Right.
so we used to carry all like them into India. So it was good enough, but very challenging that moment.
So I think, that's around the time when COVID came, right? And all of us were so scared. We were worried to get out of our homes, right? And
Mhm.
you volunteered to get onto an airplane, go to a different country, bring people back, right? Which in itself is a very, very big thing, right? And I mean, kudos to you for come volunteering to do it, because I agree, like you said, right? If we will not help, who will help? Right? Somebody has to go out and help us, right? I think that's amazing.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I had this thing that I believe that, during times of crisis is what makes the difference between a normal person versus that of a leader. क्योंकि इतना सब जब हो रहा था, हर जगह तहल महल मची
Hmm.
थी, आप तब
Hmm.
उस चीज को सॉल्व किए. Um,
Hmm.
is it possible कि that is your start of building up on your leadership role, which led to you becoming the youngest team lead?
Yes, it can. It was a big contribution because getting out of your comfort zone and doing something extra, going extra mile. I could have said no to them, but I believe like if my company requires me, if they have to operate Vande Bharat, so if it will be good opportunity for me as well to do it. However, we were following all the safety protocols. We were wearing the COVID hazmat suit. Also, frequent COVID test was happening. So we knew, okay, we believed on the protocols and safety of the by the company. So yeah, so
Hmm.
after that, after doing that, I got the certificate as well for the operating Vande Bharat. So it motivated me a lot. So I believed at that time I was just 20. So yeah, so doing that was like literally motivated me to do more, to achieve more things. So yeah, after that I became more confident enough to handle any emergency situation also if something is going to happen. So that's the thing. So yeah.
Wow. Um, so when you guys go through the entire training, right, what happens in the training so that you're prepared for these kind of emergency situations? What are the training parts entail? Because when I think of an engineer or a BBA graduate, I know what happens, but I have no idea what happens with when during an air hostess training.
Akila, there are many people who don't know about it because who all are not in this profession. They don't know because we do not have that much knowledge available in the website also who tell you exactly what is this. This is not that trending. So that's the thing people don't know. So it's a very tough training of 3.5 months. So what happened is if we believe that if we think that education or like studies is not important, it is totally wrong. If you are a cabin crew, you have to study a whole year. You have to give exams and everything. So when I started my training, so it first module, there were 7 modules, 7 to 8 modules. So we have different
Hmm.
subjects like safety of the aircraft, hijack, emergency, then first aid, then aircraft
Hmm.
immobilization, AFSEC we say,
Hmm.
and Airbus,
Hmm.
and then many things else. Safe, what we can, self defense, many things are there.
Hmm.
So we were taught for every subject. Like in if I talk about first aid, so we are trained first aider on board, so we can save any person's life, be it any disease. So we can save it for a while till the time a doctor or we land it on a safer place. So we know how to deliver a baby. All the cabin crew who are flying, so they know how to deliver a baby. They know how to handle a hijack situation if something is happened on board. If any medical emergency like heart attack, they are so common nowadays, cardiac arrest, so we know how to treat them. We know about the medicines, so they train you about the medicine doses. It should be as per the ages. Like if this this particular person is of this age, so we have to give this doses. So you have to remember everything. So giving oxygen and everything is like so it's a very big subject, so I won't like I will not evaluate the just the first aid thing, but you got an idea, like to save a
Yeah.
life. So we like that electrical shock, yeah, we use equipments also. There is an subject of equipment overview, so in which we have a lot of equipment available on board, like oxygen bottle. If somebody is having lack of oxygen, so we can supply them oxygen from oxygen bottle. We have AED machine, so that machine provides electrical shock to the person. So if somebody suffer from that, we use that. A fire extinguisher we have, so there are multiple fire extinguisher available. So they teach us to operate all these how to operate all these things in case of an emergency. So also it's just not one fire extinguisher, we have different type of fire extinguisher, five fire extinguisher we have different type of in on board. So we know we have to learn everything, like what's the pre-flight check, operation, after use of that extinguisher, duration. So yes, you never know on which day, in what aircraft you have which one. Like we have different fire extinguisher available in every flight. So you have to learn it, like how to use it, so that in case something, if any laptop catches fire, not the bigger thing talking about. Sometimes we have lithium battery available on these devices, so if they get fired, if they got fired though, so we have to use it and operate. We have to just save the particular, minimize that situation. So yes, so we have to be trained regarding that. Then there are so many multiple equipments available, so they tell you about all the onboard available equipments. Then they train you about hijack situation that we have nowadays. We do not have we are not having any situations like that, because the safety is now that strict that it has been minimized. So but we have studied all the case studies prior to all these things. So we
Right.
the rules had been made like that to minimize all this. So yes, so we are trained regarding that also, how to deal with it if we find something like that. Unruly passengers, that are the most common thing, like we know in nowadays. Like if there is a flight delay, people tend to get angry and all. So we know how to minimize that situation. There are so many rules. We have aircraft rules to deal with that. So if somebody is fighting with other passenger also, so we have aircraft rule regarding that. So if we can just declare them unruly, so if we declare them unruly, then they will not fly for that airline for a
Oh.
few months, yeah, for a tenure. So yes, so that's the thing. So we have to learn all the rules, like what all things are not allowed. Smoking is not allowed, drinking alcohol is not allowed on all domestic flights. So all these things, so these are not allowed things. So we have to learn all the rules with the numbers, so that we can inform the passenger that you have broken this rules, so we are going to declare you unruly. So that's a complete procedure. So they will teach you about this. So all these things you have to go through, and you have to give the exams also. Per subject you have to give one written exam, like online, and one viva, so that in which you have to
Oh,
score more than 90 out of 100.
Oh.
Yeah, because that's is a
very
very serious thing. So you cannot go
yeah.
wrong in anything, whether it is medicine or any equipments or any situation. So you cannot go wrong. So you have to score minimum of 90 marks. However, the trainers are like that, that teach you so easily everything, that you will get to know, you will learn it if you are a bright student, so obviously you have to maintain your routine like that. Okay, now it's the time to study. So all these exams happen, and then you get your license. And the main twist was that this license get expired in every year. So you have to give entire exam like in the for every year, so that just to refresh your knowledge and all. So they will train, we have recurrent training that is for 4 days. So you will have to go through that training. Or entire 3 month training is not going to happen. However, it has been just consigned to 4 days. So you have to give exams again, and then you have to get your license renew for flying. So this is what the training entire looks like.
I think
But
because
it is
see,
very
in the
interesting. I must tell you, it's just something which is not, you are not doing on your daily basis. So you don't know. So you get excited about everything. Like I feel like, okay, I'm the safety person on board, like with a cute smile like that. So that's the thing.
yes,
So it's the behind the scene I have told you. So it's like it does not show
yes.
on board, like because we are there, like it's like we have to be courteous and all. So that's the thing. That's the rule of the, because we are the brand ambassador of the Indigo, because you do not have anybody on there. So we are the only person whom you can relate with. Okay, Indigo Airline, yeah, or Indigo
Mm.
person. So that's the thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was saying, right? In at the end of the day, in the air, you are the only, like you're the fallback system, but the only group of people who can mitigate any problem, any situation, help the passengers, right? So it has to be strict, and you need to know sort of like everything, like whatever worst can happen, and how do you go through it, right? And
Yes.
it's intense. It's very intense, and I think that's also the idea of this podcast, right? Like we all say, and cabin crew, cabin attendants, they're there, they're smiling, they're helping out, but at the end of the day, what is happening behind the scenes, right? What is the reality? The intensity of it is what I think, something which is very new to even know for anybody.
And I really hope they don't get to see our that kind of role, because like to minimize the emergency situation. So
Hmm.
I'm okay with it if they are seeing this. Okay, they are just smiling and nice looking girls. So that is also okay for me till the time we have to deal with emergency situation.
Right.
Have you dealt with emergency situation yet?
Yes, of course. There was a passenger on board who collapsed. So we gave them
Oh.
oxygen, yeah, from the bottle. However, he was fine because we were landing. We were about to land in 20 to 25 minutes. So we just gave him the oxygen after checking the vitals, like temperature, pulse, and respiration. After doing that, we just gave them the oxygen bottle, oxygen from the oxygen bottle, and just made them sit for the landing. So after that, then the ground team came with the medical things. So it was okay for in that situation. So he was saved, hopefully. So we were like on that also. I was the lead at that time, so I have to supervise everything. Every crew member, I have to supervise that if they are doing their work or not. So it was like, and every time whenever if there's a new crew, no, so they get like anxious. Oh, what to do now? Like they get blank because they do not have seen that situation, and they are new, so they are like, okay, what to do? Like, no, it take time to recall our a first aid procedure, what we have to do. So being the lead, you have to be prominent enough to available enough to they will just call lead, there's a passenger collapse in the aft, you have to please come and see. So I have to go, and then I had checked that okay, he needs oxygen, so we gave it. So it was like that. There are so many things happens. Usually medical emergency is very common in our field.
Also, is there any particular requirement that you have to be physically fit so that one is obviously the safety protocols because you have to manage it, but also to be the brand ambassadors as well, being physical fit, any particular appearance requirements? What is that side of the beauty side of aviation industry?
Okay, so yes, you have to be medically fit. So they will, you will went through medical examination and doing everything, blood test, everything will happen to you. So if you are medically fit, then first criteria is already met. However, for interview, when you go through the interview, so they will check your, like, no tattoos should be there in your visible part of the body, like hands, face, neck. So you do not have to be, there should be no tattoos. Eyesight should be clear enough. If you are wearing, if you have specs, so make sure you are wearing lenses. Otherwise, it's not allowed. Your height is minimum 155 centimeter, because the reason behind that is some of the equipments are kept above our height. So you have to get into that. So you have to take it out at the time of emergency. So you need to be that, like at that height that it should be fulfilled. So that's why it's like minimum requirement is 155 centimeter of height. Language fluency should be there. English, Hindi uh, is mandatory. However, if you have any additional language, that is your plus point. So these all things are physically, and obviously, if you have any dark circles and all so these things, and color complexion, that is not required. We do not judge people regarding that, because that is we are in India, so we have people like a normal Indian skin. So that is not the point. However, the physically fit and the height, tattoo, because tattoo also, the thing is like, it's if you have made any Om sign or something, so it shows you are Hindu and all, right? So it can create um uh, uh it can create a view for you, like, okay, she is like this. So we don't want to discriminate between the passenger, as we do not discriminate. So we don't want to get discriminated on the basis of this also. If we make a butterfly, so they will judge you for passengers, or anybody will judge you for the tattoo and all thing. So that's to make it clear, we are not allowing anything.
Nice. And how does your day look like, right? How does a typical day look like for you?
Typical day, like when I'm flying.
When you are flying and when you're not flying. In fact, first maybe let's talk about what's your schedule like. Do you supposed to like fly? Like we have a 9 to 5 job, 5 days a week, right? How does your month look like? What's your
Okay.
working hours and how work out?
So, yes. So, what happened with us is like we get a roster for a month. After like if today's 15 or 26, if today's 26, so I'll get a roster for the next month. So I'll already know about where I'm going, which country I'm visiting, which places I'm going, and for how many days. So, 5 days prior, 10 days prior, I get to know about my next month's roster. So where I'm going. So I'll plan my schedule like that. Like if I have my off on this day, so I'll plan something. If there's something important, so I'll plan it on that off day. So it works like that. So we get the roster, and our roster is every time different. We don't fly to same city every time with the same flight. No, we are not supposed to do that. It's like it's not on our tenure also, in our file also, we do not follow these kind of things. So yeah, we have different roster every month. So we have going different country every month, to just to not make it periodical.
कितने countries आपने visit किए अभी तक?
5 to 10 countries.
Got it.
Yeah.
Do
Actually,
you
no,
get
I'm flying
time
from
to
Ahmedabad. So Ahmedabad, we do not have much international destination. We do not have that connectivity from Ahmedabad. It's a smaller base, so we do not have much flying from here. However, if you fly from Delhi, you have multiple destinations available all over India. All over the world, you are going. So, be it Thailand, Phuket, anything, Georgia, any country, like wherever Indigo goes, you are going. So yeah, so it's better if you want to travel a lot, if you want to explore more countries, so you need to go, like you have to take some Mumbai or Delhi base, Bangalore, be it Chennai even. So it will really help you to explore more. But for me, I just got comfortable in Ahmedabad, that I'm not changing it, because I just like it, like because I can predict my roster. Okay, I will be flying, I think 60 this month, 60 hours for this month. It's okay. So that was actually, I'm in my comfort zone. That's why I'm not changing the base. That's the thing.
Also, like, do you get time to travel in the countries that you go to, or is it like a schedule कि आप वहां पे जाओगे, maybe after 2 3 hours you'll have to come back?
Okay, so we mostly when we do operate a flight to international destination, we get a layover over there. Minimum 1 day, 2 days, or some places we have 3 days also. So you get a stay over there. The hotel will be booked on the company's behalf, and cabs and all will be available for you. So everything will be so arranged for you, so you just have to go there, check in, and then you are free to go anywhere. It's like, it's just that you don't cross the border of that country. That if you are going Abu Dhabi, if you're going Dubai, so you need something visa and all regarding that. But if you are just as a crew you are going to, you are limited to Abu Dhabi only. But however, you have so many things to explore in Abu Dhabi as well. So yeah, you can do that. So we get enough time to travel also. So that's the thing. That's the best part of the layover. And about going out and international, we get a lot of layovers. Time to explore.
Is there like a minimum number of hours that you're supposed to fly for in a month, or like hours of gap that you need to have between two flights?
Yes, we have every tail that is like flight times schedule, which we have to follow. Like, it's the rostering team who make us roster for a flight has to just they make a roster for us, and we have to just follow that. So what we do is, like, minimum hours of flying is like 50 hours in a month. Like, you have to fly for 50 hours in a month.
Okay.
However, and you will get a basic salary for 50 hours. So even if you are not flying for 50 hours, you will get the basic salary. And after that, if you're flying extra, you will get extra pay for that. So so like that. And if you are flying today, so most probably you will get an off tomorrow. You are not flying, but or you can fly for within the minimum rest of 12 hours. Like, if I'm flying
Oh.
doing morning flight today, so tomorrow I can also operate a morning flight. However, on the third day, as I'm consequently operating two early morning flights, so won't be able to operate on the third day. So then that day will I can operate any flight in the evening, but not in the morning.
Hmm.
That's the thing. So you get a proper rest regarding um talking about the rest. If we are talking about rest, yes, you get a proper rest between the flights.
So when you are flying, like how does your day look like? Let's say if today you have a flight, how many hours before you need to reach there? What do you do before the flight? What do you do after the flight? Maybe can you run us through that?
Okay, so if I'm going for a flight, and it's depend like what is my flight like. It's if it's a day return flight, as I'm coming back, if I'm going to Bombay and then coming back to Bombay, it's Mumbai, but the code is bomb for us, so that's why I usually say Bombay. So yeah, so if I'm going to Bombay and then coming back, so then the my schedule will be different. If I have a layover in the Bombay, so I'll pack my bags accordingly, like that. Keep my all the packing like that. Okay, I'm going for 3 days, 2 days, so I have to stay there. So benefit
Hmm.
for me, preference, if you ask me, I want layovers, because what the thing is, they when they give me layovers, so they give us allowances also, because I'm out of my base. So you have layover allowances whenever you are going. Like, if you are staying overnight in some other city, so you get paid for it. Even if they have booked your hotel, cabs, food, laundry, everything has done by the company, still you will get to pay because you are out of your base. So yeah, so if I have a flight to Bombay and a layover, so morning after getting ready for the flight, like I have to report 1 hour prior, because we have to
Okay.
go under the medical examination, that is BA. So breath analyzer test, that we should not be drunk at that particular time on the operation of the time, because it's a serious profession, so we cannot be drunk. So you have to undergo that test like breath analyzer test, and make sure you are not positive. Otherwise there are many complications against that. So yes, once your breed analyzer test is done, you are good to go. You will take the briefing. Like, I am the lead, so I'll take the briefing of my crew, like we are going, if is it a life jacket sector, how many passengers we are traveling with, and so I can ask even some questions regarding safety and first aid, like because people are flying continuously, so there might be a chance that they miss on something. So just to revise
Hmm.
everything, I can ask the questions and like just inform them, okay, weather will be like this. That's it. So
Hmm.
we'll go for the flight, we'll operate the flight, and after that we go to the, if we have a layover, so after that our cab will come to get pick us, because then we'll go check in, then we'll have the rest, like that. It's like that. So after the flight, obviously we have to do one debriefing also, so it require one hour approximately after we land. After all the passenger deplane, we have to go our base office. Then we have to do debriefing, conduct debriefing, like how was the flight went, what went right, what went wrong, if there's any emergency situation happened, then what was the requirement, like if we have opened the first aid kit, even for the crossing, though we have to fill a form regarding whom we have given the crocin medicine for what, and how was the passenger after
Hmm.
taking the medicine. So all these things we have to discuss. So yes, so it like, so you can just predict 1 hour before reporting, or like 1 hour before the departure, and after 1 hour after the flight you have to
Hmm.
spend. However, and it also depends, as I am living very near to the airport, it's like 15 minutes, so I just sit in the cab 1 hour 15 minutes prior, like before the departure. So it's okay for me. But the people who are staying in Delhi, Mumbai, so they have to take the board the cab likewise.
Uh, has there been any like memorable event with any passenger that you still remember, or it changed your perception about your work?
Yes, there was one flight, if I remember. Like there are many flights with the good memories. So there was a flight I was operating from Ahmedabad to Delhi, and it was winters last year. So the flight, we didn't have the visibility in Delhi. So we were not after closing doors, like we were with the passenger, and we closed the doors. At that time, ATC informed us that there's no visibility in Delhi, so we won't be able to take off for a while. So when we made, as a lead, when I made the announcement that we will be delayed, or we till the time ATC gives a clearance, so people get
Hmm.
started getting panicked. There was many old passengers, so they were also like, okay, when we are going to take off and all everything. They were very like, okay, just tell us about what happened. So we inform. So as lead, what I did is I just politely informed them that there was a visibility issue, there's fog, weather. So if they are not going to give us the clearance, so how could we take off? And it's for your safety. So I handled the situation really well. So there was a passenger who was observing everything. So he was somebody, I don't know, like exactly. I didn't talk to him now. So what happened while deplaning? When we landed in Delhi. So as we handled the situation so well that like delay and all everything. So he just stood up and clapped for us. So and after seeing him, everyone was clapping for us. Like, okay, you guys also
Yeah.
did a great job, like in the handling situation. So that was the day. Like, as I could not take out my phone and make the videos, I didn't do it. But otherwise, it was very
Hmm.
good. Like if somebody's appreciating and all. So that's the thing. I
Hmm.
think this was the best moment, I think, because everyone clapped after the COVID thing. Because COVID, mein to we required appreciation, obviously, it was obvious. But in these delayed situation, if some passengers are nice, then that's good for us as well. We get, okay, we have
Yeah.
done something good.
So, like generally, like I've personally also seen you. You've met with a lot of celebrities, right?
Mm.
While flying on the flight. So, do you like know that beforehand that this VIP person, whoever is coming up, or is it like when they come up and you realize, oh, this person is on our flight today?
Okay, so we have you have joined two statements here. As a VIP passenger for us is someone who is from ministry, like environmental minister, or like someone from MLA and or something. If they were traveling, then they will get to know about them prior that some minister
Yes.
is traveling of this department. However, for celebrities, we
Oh,
don't get any information. So when they
okay.
come, they board. Then only we get to see. Oh, we have this. We have this. Okay, so like that, then it's like that. But for ministers, we all, because it's a safety concern, so we get to know, the lead get to know prior to the flight that someone is traveling on this seat number. So you need like just take care of that. Not much passenger interaction with them. Like so, everyone comes and meet him, and but most of the people don't know. at that time. The ministers, when they are traveling, no, if they didn't have, if they are not in that position, like high position, so people don't know. But celebrities, yes, they all get gathered, and then we have
Okay.
to, sir, please take your seat.
Yes.
And then after
Yes.
that, we only talk to them, like, okay. It's nice when we see. Whenever I fly Mumbai, most of the time I get to see somebody or a television artist or somewhere like this. So it's good. And some in some hotel also we get to know. Once I was staying in Jaipur, married, JW married. The Kartik
Hmm.
Aaryan was there.
Uh,
He came for a promotion, and then I got to know. Okay, he's also staying in the hotel. Yeah, so I saw him, I met him, and it was nice conversation.
What are the like next steps? Like one becomes an air hostess, I think in the cabin crew, then you become a lead. What happens after that?
Okay, so we have bigger positions than lead cabin attendant also. We have co-leads, we have check leads who takes our checks.
hmm.
Like if we are flying for a while, for a year, and then after that we went through the training, recurrent training, and then after that training, we have a check flight. Like you will operate a flight, and there will be a person who will observe everything, okay, what you're doing and what you are not supposed to do. So they observe your flight operations. So there is a person,
Hmm.
that person does not fly often. She mostly fly when she has to take check of the other crew members. So that's the
Okay.
position, that's the higher position we have. If we want to fly, we have to continue flying.
Hmm.
Otherwise you have a
Hmm.
position, many positions on ground also. On ground, like you can be an instructor. If you have if you have flown for 5 years, then you can be a customer service instructor. However, if you have flown for 8 years, you can be an instructor for safety, emergency things. So whatever module you like, you can just choose, and you can start teaching
Hmm.
crew members, the who are incoming new crew members. You can train them for in the iFly Academy or wherever. Every airlines has their training academy, so you can join over there. You can have a shift, working shift over there if you want to not fly. So that's the thing.
Hmm.
Or if you want to explore more, so you can go to international airline also. We have a double, triple pay over there for the crew members like this. So yes,
Okay.
you can earn 3 lakh in a month usually, and that too with the lower allowances additionally. So that's the thing. So you can go outside abroad, settle over there, or if you want to be in India or same company, you can. If you have done your studies like masters, MBA, and all you have done, so you can be HR also. You can just apply internally. But as you are the crew member, you
Hmm.
are already working with the company. They will of course give you the preference. So yes, there are so many positions. You can be at the base office, like we have a office in the airport. So you can,
Okay.
where we report to our managers to like if we want to
Right.
apply for the sick and all. So we
Hmm.
send the mail to them. So you can be that person as well. So there are so many multiple options if you want to be on ground. However, you can be a check lead also at the
Hmm.
in your company. That is also beneficial. That is also very pros. Like it's the highest position you can ever be. That's the thing.
Oh,
Yeah, for flying,
okay.
yes, check lead is the highest position you can. Or if you have something like if you have mastered in instructor, as like you have so many experience, then you can be an auditor as well in the flights. Like we have
Hmm.
some auditors also who travels, who observe everything, and then they makes rules and regulation according to that. You can do that as well. So yeah.
What are the perks and the downsides of constantly traveling, according to you?
If you talk about first, then the first thing comes in my mind is money. So yeah, if we
Hmm.
get if we travel, we get paid for it. So if you are getting doing a
Hmm.
layover, then you will get layover allowances
Hmm.
also. If you are doing going abroad, you will get layover allowance for international travel. So you will get much more international layover allowances as compared to Indian currency. You get paid in USD dollars, so it's good
Hmm.
for you. So for me, the first thing like that, like I get to travel also. If I'm going abroad, why would I
Hmm.
not go? and explore something, because that's the thing, we are getting time, we are getting money, so then we should go. Because if I'm not into the flying, I won't go to in Kuwait and visit Kuwait Tars or seaside. I'll not go. I'll not have itna money to spend itna zyada until unless it's a vacation trip.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get often travel experience. So I think that's all are the perks for me. And if you are staying in five-star hotel, the food is already like free for you. Laundries is going to do free of cost for you. So it's a benefit for me, because as I stay alone over here, so I have to cook for me, do my laundries, and if I'm on a layover, so first cooking and all things are like, okay, we can just
That's sorted.
avoid that. We can
Yeah.
order whatever we want. So that's the thing. That's the perk for me if I'm traveling. And if even if it is day return flight, that is also good. You are making hours. If you fly
Mm.
over 50 hours, you will get extra pay per hours. So that's also the thing. And but if you talk about downside, so yeah, the first thing is you miss your country when you are away from your country on festivals. Like, as we don't
Mm.
get holidays on festivals, it's like you can bid for it. However, if you get it, it's
Mm.
good. If it's not, then you have to travel. So if you are
Mm.
in Diwali, if you are outside, then it's bit
Yeah.
downside only. Like it's not good. You won't feel like good, like doing that. But yeah, but luckily I have always got my off on Diwali, just like that.
Wow.
Going, yeah, but like, if I have operated also, then it's like day return flight that I'll come back home. So that's the thing.
Mm.
So yeah, that's the thing. And also health issues also there, a few downside, because sometimes you have early morning flights, you have a late night flight, so it's affect your schedule. So if you're not into your good diet, if you're not having good diet, nutritious food, then you will get tired, you will get sick very soon. So you just have to follow your routine, you have to you will make sure that you will get please make sure that you get a proper sleep before the flight, so that you can be
Mm.
active and all. So that's the thing. So I think these all things are the downfalls I can talk about.
How has being a cabin crew changed your perspective on the travel and hospitality sector? Like, what did you used to think about the sector before becoming a cabin crew, and what do you think about it now?
Okay, so yes, there was a major difference, because I also did know about all these perspectives, like what we have to go through the training and all. I just thought like we have to go, get ready, we have to explore
Mm.
world. Just need to give the food items to the particular passenger. That's it. That's the done, and you're done for the day. That's the thing. However,
Mm.
and you get to pay, like you get to travel also. That's the thing. But when I started flying, I got to know it comes with a lot of responsibility. There are a lot of
Right.
responsibility. You have to be trained enough for all these things. So there's so much to explore. Even after
Mm.
meeting, like now, before this, I was very introvert. I was not comfortable talking to strangers and all. I was like in my classmates also. I Whoever are my friends, I just talk to them. So it was like that. But now I can
Mm.
talk to anybody. Like I'm comfortable with anybody. Like, because we meet 180 passengers daily. So it's like a huge amount. And as a lead, you have to interact with most of them. Like, if just to be nice, that's the thing. So you have to interact. If any problem is there, you need to resolve it. So that's the thing. So
Mm.
you need to be the you need so it's like it enhanced my personality. Now I am very extrovert enough to talk and everything, confident enough. Obviously I'm like, if someone is at my home also, if someone is sick, I can assure that I can just treat them. Like, I can give the first aid, at least basic essentials, so no one will die in front of me. At least that's the thing. That confidence I have. Self defense they have taught us. So yes, I don't practice it, but I know the tricks. So that's the thing.
Um, how many languages do you know? And in general, on an average basis, how many languages do people who are in the aviation industry know?
Um, actually I'm not good at learning languages, so I basically I know two only Hindi and English. However, if you know more about if you speak more than two languages, it is really a plus point because you go out of country also or in within India, so you get to interact with them passengers really well because some of the passengers who speak particular their regional language, so it will really
Hmm.
help. So we really look for the people who can speak more than two languages. It's a really preference. If you're CV and you're applying for an cabin crew member, so if you have this in CV, if you have extra additional language, then it is really beneficial for you. We'll look forward towards you.
What's the most crucial part of your job?
Crucial part of the job.
Hmm.
If I talk about the crucial is the safety concern, and like that's the main thing, safety regarding things on the basis of this. However, if you need to be very patient enough, patient, you should have patient, confidence, you know, you should be confident enough to deal with any situations. These all things like, and you should be know about, you should be good enough on your knowledge basis also. If you know your things, you will be confident enough to on to follow all these things. So yes, patience also, because there are now in the winters we have IROPS. IROPS is irregular operations, which comes in December to till March. We have it because of the weather things. The flight gets delayed. You get to operate some flight which is not allocated to you. You get pulled out, utilized for that flight. Ma'am, there's a flight. We need a crew. So please, if you can join us. So that's the thing, and then we have to do it. That's the thing. So you need to be very adjustable regarding this and the sleeping cycles, everything. Early morning flight, you will be willing to wake up at 4 a.m. even if you have a flight at 5 or 6. So you need to be like this. So just be aware that you need to be very available for everything, like any time point of time. However, you will get the rest. It will all be everything will be followed, but these all things are very much required. And if you are thinking just doing makeup and all, everything is good enough and is just enough for you to be a cabin crew member, so that's a really not thing. However, you will really love it because if you ask me, I really love flying. Like because I get to
Okay.
know everything, the different schedule I have every time. So that's what I really like about it. But the thing is, which I didn't, I already told you about traveling on festival is the big no. But yeah, but that's the thing. So if you are very emotional kind of person, then also you need to be very strong emotionally. So these all things are very
Yes.
crucial for being a cabin crew.
What advice would you give for someone who has just started out, wants to start in the journey of being an air hostess?
Okay, so for this, I think being the potential, if you have that potential and you want to be a cabin crew member, just check the website first of all for the company which you want to apply. As in domestic, we have a lot of options available. Indigo is there, SpiceJet, Akasha Air, and many airlines are there, Air India. So you can just go to the career page of the airline and you can see there are so many walk-in interviews available. So you can
Mhm.
just go with your circular with your file along with your resume and passport size plus one full length photo with the with the formal, and you can go and give the interviews. However, just be make sure, just please make sure that you are well groomed, like no messy hair is allowed. Minimum
Yeah.
makeup, at least minimum makeup you need to do, because you need because in this industry we if you have done minimum makeup only, then you will look like presentable.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. So you need to look good and just be confident. There should be fluency in English. Like you should be good in English and Hindi.
Mhm.
So you need to be this. Plus, if you have crossed, you need to be 12th pass at least. And if the graduation is there, then it's really good for you. So I'll advise, if you have completed your graduation, then please enter in the in this industry, because you will get like you will get further more opportunities after flying. If you have any degree, like you can apply, you can work on that field. And like if you have
Hmm.
done BBA, then while flying you can do MBA and after that you can go for HR if you want to. Otherwise, if you are loving flying, then it's okay. So please, and also most of the people I have believed, like I have talked to them, they wanted to go international airline for to work there. So I'll just suggest them, please have some experience in domestic. You will get to know about flying, what it is exactly there. You will get an idea, and most of the international airline hire the people who has experience in domestic at least. So it will be really good. So that's the thing, and make sure you do not have any tattoos and all on the visible part of the body.
Is there any age restrictions or on applying, or can even say a healthy 40-year-old woman can also apply?
Yes, there's no restriction like that. If you are a fresher and you want to apply, so you can apply till 27 years of your age. You can apply without flying experience. You can apply till 27 with your perfect BMI. You should be under your BMI, the weight and all things. You should be under your BMI. So that's the thing. And after, if you have any worked for a crew as a crew member, or if you have a flying experience, then even if you left the job and you were doing something else and then you want to rejoin, you can rejoin at any age. Till the time you're medically fit, you can rejoin at any age. There's no restriction like that, because you have already experienced. For fresher it is till 27, but once you are into your aviation line, then you can fly for as many years you want. Just that you need to be medically fit, and every medical checkup happens after like every 4 years. You have to undergo the medical examination that is conducted by the company.
With the government bringing in so many new airports and infrastructure development across India, how do you see aviation industry growing in India?
I think it's in within 5 years, 5 to 10 years, is going to be boom in the airline industry, because there is so many infrastructure, as you said, is going to build, and it's building only. So we will see many more people traveling, and we earn the airports, and there will be more connectivity within 2 tier cities, 3 tiers. There will be more connectivity. The people will try travel often. Also, I believe that tourists also will be, the foreigners also will travel to India to see, though so many things are there in India. And we have, if we have good connectivity, we'll travel a lot. And in Indigo, we are more focusing towards the international connectivity as well, with the Indian cities. So I think it's going to be very, like, it will be on the positive side of the upcoming year, I guess. It will be really nice. When I'm very much interested in looking forward to it.
What's the most challenging part of your job?
Challenging part of the job for me is waking up early, even after doing so many flights. I think if we have
Yeah.
early morning flight, then that's the most challenging, apart from my schedule. Or if we in operations, when I'm flying, the most challenging part is if someone is breaking a rule. So you have to be like very adamant. As I have also declared somebody unruly passenger, there was a man who was harassing a girl in the flight, in the international flight. So I had to declare them unruly. So that's the thing. So to deal with that such situation is very challenging. Like, to console the girl, to take her point of view, we have to file the witness forms. There are witness form who has witnessed all these things. But however, if the girl is enough there to tell you that it's happened with me, so then you can just fill the witness form on her behalf only, and there's no witness required. So dealing in such kind of situation is something which is very challenging. You have to be very, like, you have to be very clear. You have to clear vision. You have to be very on stronger side. Like, you have to be strong enough to just communicate your things to the passenger, because if you are not going to do it, then I believe a passenger will get on you then. You need to be like that, no, on that side. So yeah, that's the thing. I have declared somebody unruly also. That person is like, then after that, when we landed, security came and then they took him away. So that's the thing. So this is my personal experience which I have faced. So on that particular day, I was like, okay, it was a bit difficult for me. That would
I'm sure it was difficult, but when you look back on it, do you feel that in some way you took the first step towards women empowerment from
yes.
your point of
Yeah.
view?
When I was experiencing this, I was not thinking about all this thing. I was like, I was just doing my duty. And now if I look onto that matter, I believe like, okay, I have done something good because it was needed. Uh, so now I feel proud of it, like, okay, I have done something good. However, I've not you were the first one, I think I'm sharing the experience with me after my family, this experience, because I don't want to share all these things. It's these all things are internally happen with everyone. So I have seen this kind of people also. So yes, you need to be mentally very stable and clear about it, all these things. Yeah, but it's women empowerment, obviously. Oh, girl power, we have a badge also. When we wear our uniform, we have a girl power badge, which indicates that we love women empowerment. That's why you see all the crew members are female in Indigo.
Hmm. If I have to like summarize the entire conversation, right? When I think about it, at the end of the day, I feel that being an air hostess is a mix of beauty, brains, and brawn. Wherein not only are you presenting yourself as a brand ambassador, but you're also doing a lot of crisis management, and also especially ensuring that crisis management shouldn't happen and doing all the checks and balances for it. But at the same time, you guys are so physically fit. You guys know how to take care of situations when it arises. I think this is a view that I never knew because all I knew was, smiling at the air hostesses, them giving me some coloring box or something for me when I was a kid and, using and playing around with it. So this was quite an insightful conversation for me. And also the fact that being strong doesn't have to be with a frown or so. Being strong can also be with a smile. So I think that was a major takeaway for me. So, Shika, would you like to add anything to it?
I think not really. I think you have perfectly put it, right? This is one of the career paths or roles which we don't take, I don't know, we don't really take that seriously, maybe at times because we don't know what's happening in the background and so much is going on, right? Because it looks very easy, it looks simple, right? Somebody's coming and smiling and is talking to you, right? What more could be there, right? But I think this conversation definitely helped understand there's a lot more, and that you can have that trust, that faith on your cabin crew when you're flying. And probably that's why we can just, be peaceful when we are flying. We don't have to worry about other things, right? Yeah, I think kudos to all the cabin crew. They're doing an
Yes,
commendable.
and I really want to add that thank you so much for giving this platform to at least talk about all these things, because people don't know about it. And I really want to tell them that whoever my friends are, they know about all these things because I have informed them. And prior to that, as the aspirant of cabin crew, being a cabin crew member, I was also not aware of this thing. When I get into this, I got to know about it. So if like having such sessions where we can talk about the profession we are, it's really good. Like you get a very wide idea about it. So this was really helpful. I think the persons who are thinking to be a cabin crew as aspirant, it will be really helpful for them.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kajal, and thank you for your insights.